Now, the debate of who is actually greater, Timini or Zubby Michael, is the current gist in Nigeria. Nobody wants to skip this. To many people, it's still worth debating, but to me, it's actually disrespectful, subjectively speaking. But then, I know Nigerians to be kind of people who always want to judge things with sentiments. Once it's their favorite, they just want to give straight answer without consulting data, without researching, without even pondering extensively on that particular subject to find out who or what is the answer. They only believe that as long as it's who they're actually rooting for, the person is the answer. Let's face facts. Zubby Michael has been a household name in the Nollywood industry. And I don't really need to consult that because I know this like I know my name, that Zubby Michael has been in the industry years before Timini decided to show up in 2014, right? Yeah. Now, my job here is to give you the right answer. And the right answer is based on facts, which is actually also relied upon data and how far I've actually researched. I do the research, you do the arguments. Last week I said that Burna Boy is the giant of Africa, and I gave you the reasons why he is the giant of Africa. You know, concern me whether you argue it or not. I've given you the right answer. So if you like, do your thing and argue. You know, concern me. I've given you what I found out. The rise of podcasts in Nigeria has actually given rise to a lot of opinions, and in most cases, those opinions are disrespectful. Comparing Timini and Zubby Michael, how?
I don't know.
You can actually tell who is actually greater or who is any what in the music industry based on how many tours they've actually covered, the cost of their tickets, how much they actually paid for featuring, and a whole lot of it, a lot of revenues. But in the acting industry is more or less like an illusion, but only few stand strong. But then there are still many ways to measure who is actually great in the movie industry. And one of those ways is brand ambassadorship, how many movies have actually featured, your network as an actor. That is one thing that you really have to consider. Your network as an actor. Network, I didn't say net worth. Mostly in the movie industry, your network defines your success. Mostly, your network defines your success. And this is where I bring in Timini and Zubby. Let's start with when I started acting professionally. Now, Timini Ebuson started acting in 2014 and had a break in 2015, which was, I think, Teen Cell. Yeah, I think it has to do with Teen Cell. His breaking has to do with Teen Cell. Then Zubby Michael started as far back as 2003. That's some rough decades there. When it comes to brand ambassadorship, there are a lot of long lists on Timini's side, and there are also a lot of long lists on Zubby's side. But I can tell you from facts that Zubby Michael's list is way longer. Let's not argue. When it comes to the different respective networks, that is where you have to call in Zubby as the man of the house, as the Pata of them all. Zubby Michael, no now. I was actually opportune to see how powerful the Zubby Michael force is some years back when a hotelier in Asaba, which is also my friend, called him for an event in his hotel. And when I asked my friend, why did you decide to pick Zubby of all the artists in Asaba and of all the whole artists in Nigeria? And he said, my brother, you know, go understand, that guy pulls crowd. That was what he said. And he ended it there. And I decided to grace the event to be sure that he knows exactly what he was doing. When I got there, I saw a lot of people trooping in, and a lot of people were there till midnight. They're actually waiting on who? Zubby. It's not as if he's coming to sing. It's not as if he's coming to do anything. I still waited. I needed to see the force. I needed to see what this guy was able to do. And when I waited, he came later. Zubby actually didn't disappoint. He came later that night. That was late. He apologized. And when people cited him, God have mercy. Even some of your favorite musical arts in Nigeria, no pull such crowd. I mean, the vibes, the excitement and everything. A lot of people started spending, buying things. And I asked this man later, how much did you pay him? And he told me how much he paid him and told me how much he gained. Zubby Michael is an industry on his own. There's one particular movie, I've forgotten the name of that movie, that Zubby Michael produced, directed, and was the whole thing behind that movie. And when I looked at the whole stars, even Yoir, a lot of them, the person who supervised that movie and saw to the success of it was single-handedly done by Zubby Michael. When I mean star-studded, it was actually star-studded. The whole stars you can ever think of when it comes to the Eastern region stars. Zubby is an industry of his own. Let's not just go there and argue and start making scenes and all those matters. You know what? They are very wonderful in their different areas and I respect them differently. But you see this podcast sitting of always comparing the elephant and the ant. Ah, God, he's actually a household name in the Hollywood industry. And Timini is a good guy, but come on now, put some respect to that Z name.